Good morning, class of 2023. I hope you're having a wonderful day. I just wanted to congratulate you on getting through the first 9 weeks of high school. Hopefully you survived and now know what it takes to be successful at the high school level. Now's a great time as we enter the second 9 weeks to talk about our grades and to try to focus ourselves as we come down the stretch to end our first semester of what it's going to take to be successful. So let's talk about a couple of scenarios that I think are important for you. Remember, how we get a semester average. We take our first 9 weeks, we add our second 9 weeks grade, and we're going to divide that by 2, and that's going to be your semester average. And that semester average is going to be the final grade on your transcript, which will be there forever and ever and ever. Now again, this only applies to a semester class. If you're in year-long English, year-long math, you have obviously the whole year to continue to work. So this is just a semester class experience, okay? But remember, first 9 weeks plus second 9 weeks grade, we take that total, we divide by 2, and that's the numeric average that will equate to a letter grade that will show up on your transcript, okay? So let's go over a couple of point scenarios that I think are important for you to know. Remember, if you're trying to hit A, B, C, or D, all right, we're trying to pass all of our classes, but these are the point values that you've got to hit to get that minimum level of that grade. So for example, for a semester class, if you would like to make an A, your first plus second 9 weeks average has to be 180 points, okay? For a B, you have to hit 160 points when you add your first and second 9 weeks grade together. For a C, it's 140 points. And if we're trying to pass the class, we've got to take your first and second 9 weeks grade, add them together, and you've got to hit 120 points, okay? So you can look at point value to help you try to figure out what you got to make the second 9 weeks to figure out what grade you want for the semester average. All right, so let's go over a couple of scenarios. Let's say that you want an A. All right, let's say, for example, you made an 87 the first 9 weeks. That's a great job. You made a B. But in order to make that A, you're going to need to make a 93 this second 9 weeks. Because when I take my 87 plus my 93 and I divide it by 2, that's going to give me my 90% A average, okay? So you can see what you got to do to make the A for the semester when you add in your performance for this 9 weeks. All right, let's go over a different scenario. Let's talk about a B. Let's say you're trying to shoot for a B. Let's say you made a 75 the first 9 weeks. What do you got to make the second 9 weeks? Well, if you look at the point differential, you've got to make an 85, all right, in the second 9 weeks. When we take those, add them up, divide by 2, all right, that's going to give you 160 points, which is your 80% B average, okay? So again, figure out what you made the first 9 weeks, all right, and figure out what you need to make the second 9 weeks to make that minimum number if your goal is to make a B. All right, a couple more scenarios just so you get the idea here. All right, let's say your goal is to make a C. That's a great goal. All right, your first 9 weeks, let's say you made a 63. You got some work to do to get that minimum C average. For the second 9 weeks, you're going to need to make a 77. All right, when we take the 63 plus the 77, we add that up, we divide by 2. That's going to give us 140 points, and that'll help us get to our 70% minimum C average. Okay, and lastly, for the last scenario, let's talk about, let's say our goal is to pass the class. All right, a lot of us are in this scenario where we've been gifted a 50% because we just didn't do so well that first 9 weeks. That's okay, there's still time to recover, but you've got a lot of work to do in the second 9 weeks if we're going to pass the class. So you made a 50, that means you're going to have to make a 70. You're going to have to make a C the second 9 weeks, is when we add these two up, we divide by 2, all right? That's going to bring us to that 60% D average that you need to pass the class. All right, again, the point of this is know what you made the first 9 weeks and then figure out what you need to make the second 9 weeks to get the desired outcome for the semester. Okay, again, reminder, all right, for our semester class, the minimum to pass the class, all right, with a D is 120 points. The minimum for a year-long class is 240 points. All right, so again, figure out what you made first 9 weeks and then do the math to figure out how you have to perform in this second 9 weeks. All right, a year-long example, it's a little bit more complicated, but let's say you made a 65 in the first 9 weeks. All right, and for example, let's say you made a 70 in the second 9 weeks. Good job, you made a C. All right, that would give you 135 points. All right, and then so if we take that, you have 135 points. Well, I've got to get to 240. That means between these last 9 weeks, I've got to find 105 points. All right, so again, first plus second plus third plus fourth is going to give you this final average. And again, you've got to get, no matter what, a minimum of 240 points. All right, that's the minimum. All right. Now, what we just went through, all these scenarios are just for semester-long classes that is not an EOC class. All right, if you're in Algebra 1 or English 2 or Biology, you know that you have an EOC in January where that's going to count 20% of your grade. So that's going to impact your final average depending on how you do. All right, so if you're in one of these three classes, you need to give yourself some filler space, if you will, that if you're wanting an A, don't be sitting on a 90 because this EOC could impact your grade and drop you down if you don't do so well. So just understand that this EOC, it does matter, okay? And you've got to do well, all right? But I want to do that. So what are we talking about? Remember, our goal, we've got to be better the second 9 weeks, all right? Our second 9 weeks grade should be higher because now you know the deal. You know what to expect. You know the pace. You know your teacher's expectations. You know what it takes to be successful. So again, know your numbers, all right? Do what you got to do to be successful. Come to Power Hour. Go to Morning Brew, all right? Show up for your teacher tutoring sessions, all right, so we can be better, all right? Remember, our goal is we're going to pass all of our classes. And at the end of the day, you know our expectations. All right, you're going to take 8 classes this year. You've got to pass 5 of them, and 2 of them have to be English and math, no matter what, if we're going to get to the 10th grade. All right, so study your grades, know your numbers, all right, and make sure that you're always aware of what you've got to do academically to hit the desired outcomes that you're wanting. Okay, so set goals, all right, and set out to accomplish them. Thank you so much. I'm proud of all you've done, all right, and looking forward to a great, successful second 9 weeks. Have a great day and go Jackets.